Hello student, my name is Momojimo Mohammed from Sheikh Abubakar Gumi Academy. Still on fishery, before I proceed, I gave you assignment in our second lesson. I believe you all have done it. So if you have done it, or if you have any problem pertaining to our last lesson, you can reach me through this number or on WhatsApp. So we are going to continue from where we stopped in our second class. This is the third lesson. Method of fishing. We want to look at method of fishing. We want to look at fish preservation. We want to look at risk factor in fish farming. So when you say method of fishing, when you have reared your fish to maturity stage and they have matured, the next thing to do is to harvest them. You harvest. Then how do you harvest? We have different methods, different ways of harvesting fish, which we refer to as what? Method of fishing. One, we have fish net. We can use net to harvest our fishes when they have gone to maturity stage. And one of the examples of this net is what you are seeing here, which we refer to as gill net. As you can see, it has a pole here, it has another pole, and flag is attached to the upper part of the pole to serve as marker. It has float, or what we refer to as floater. It has lead weight, and it has anchors. So the way you do this thing is to place this gill net across the river or across the water. Then, when fish come in contact with the net, maybe as they are trying to move from point A to point B, the gill net is in between point A and point B. So as they are trying to move from point A to point B, they will come in contact with the gill net. And the gill net is designed in such a way that the mesh size, the head of the fish can only enter. Once the head enter the mesh, then the fish will get stuck to the net. The fish will not be able to come out again. That is, the gill will get stuck to the net. So not only that, we have trawler. We have what we call trawler. This is another net attached to a boat. Then that boat will be towing it, moving it on water or in water in order to what? Harvest fishes. Then, not only that, we have drag net also, that you cast, you throw it into the water, then you drag it towards yourself. That's another example of what? Net that you can use to harvest fish. Then let's quickly move to the second method, known as fish basket. As you can see, this is what we refer to as fish basket or fishing basket. In this one, we use this one in the shallow water. We place this one in the direction of flow of water, that is, the water will be moving like this. Then any fish that come in contact, they will enter this cavity. Once they enter the cavity, they will not be able to come out again, because this you are seeing is what? A trap. Once their head, as they get into the mesh here, they will get stuck to it and they will not be able to come back. That is fishing basket. Then we have another one as fish trap, or we call it cage. Look at this drawing here. This is a cage, an enclosure. An enclosure, it can be made of organic material like palm frond. You can use palm frond to construct this. So when you look at this, one side of this enclosure can be open, which is this very side can be open. You can open it, and it's fixed to the edge here via hinge. So meaning that this side is movable. You get what I'm saying? Then there's also spring that is connected to it. There's a spring here. You understand? That once a trigger is not placed here, this side will close, which is the lid will close. You get what I'm saying? So you can also set something like this inside water. Put the trigger, put bait. When you see bait, something that can attract fish, you put it inside the enclosure here. So once fishes are attracted into this enclosure, then as they are entering, they can displace this trigger and this thing will fall off. Once it falls off, this lid will close and the fish will be captured inside that enclosure. Then we have other methods like spear. We can also use spear also. In the olden days, they throw spear at fish, especially big fishes, to harvest them. Use it to stab them. You throw it or you hold it, use it to stab them. Then we have harpoon. This one is also like spear, but it has rope. It has rope at the end of the handle. So this one can be thrown. Once you throw it, then you can stand at the shore of the ocean. Then you throw it to hit a fish. So once you are able to target the fish, then you can stand at the shore and you drag the rope back and the fish will be stuck to the pointed part of the harpoon. So we have what we call hook and line, and this is the drawing here, hook and line. This one has handle. So what you need to do here, this is the handle, this is the line, fishing line. We have float. What will be on top of water that will show whether this hook has caught something or not is the float. The float will be on top of water. Once you see that the float sink into the water like this, that serves as a signal. That sends signal to you that something is dragging the hook into the water. Then what you do, you just drag your hook out of the water. So, but what you do, you have to attach bait to it, to the hook here. You attach bait. You can use earthworm. You put earthworm here to serve as what? Bait. So once fish come in contact with this, in the process of trying to swallow the bait, then they will swallow the bait together with the hook. And for them to get out of the hook, it will not be easy. And that is how you harvest the fish. Then let's look at the preservation. Okay, we have arrow, still method of fish. Arrow. This one you can put it in a bowl. Then you shot it at fish. So that is that. Then let's look at preservation. Preservation method. How do you preserve fish? How do you preserve fish? We are talking about fishes. Once you harvest fish, there's no way you can consume all the fish you have harvested. Or when you take the fish to the market, there's no way people will buy everything. So we have to look for a way of preserving it so that it will not spoil. Then how do you preserve it? One, drying. We have drying method. This drying method is to place it under the sun. In an open place outside, you place it under the sun for sun to heat. So during this process, the moisture content of the fish is reduced. Because the bacteria inside the fish, once that water is still there, it encourages their activities. But once the water has been dried by sun, this is capable of discouraging bacterial activity, and the bacteria will be rendered harmless because it is the bacteria that is causing spoilage here. Then we have smoking. Smoking is another one. Here what you need to do is to produce smoke. How do you produce smoke? By heating wood in a limited supply of air. Like as this class is now, if you can close the windows, close everywhere, maybe you just allow only this door open, then you gather your firewood here. When you light it, you know, the wood will not get enough air, and for flame to be produced, it needs air. You get what I'm saying? Once the amount of air supply is not sufficient, smoke will be produced, and through that you can use that to smoke your fish. And the essence of smoking is also to reduce the moisture content in order to discourage bacterial activity. That is that. When you are smoking, you can place a wire gauze on top of an oven that is producing the smoke. Then the wire gauze, you now place your fish on top of what? On top of this wire gauze. Then when you're smoking, you see oil dropping. That oil that is dropping is the moisture content that we're talking about. What you see as oil is the moisture content, and that is capable of what? Discouraging bacterial activities. Then we have refrigeration, is another method. It has been observed that when fishes are subjected to a low temperature, the bacterial activities are reduced. Bacteria or the microbial activities are what? Reduced. So under low temperature, bacteria cannot cause any harm. You get what I'm saying? So they will not be able to multiply to spoil the fish. So we have another one, salting. Salting, this one is one of the old methods that you have to sprinkle salt around fresh fish. Then this salt is capable of drawing moisture from internal part of the fish to outside. So once the moisture has been drawn out of the fish, then the bacterial activity will also be discouraged. Then we have irradiation. Irradiation, this method is not common in Nigeria. It's not common in Nigeria. This one, you use irradiator to produce gamma radiation to kill bacteria that is capable of causing spoilage to fish. It produces gamma radiation. When you look at irradiation, it's just like microwave. The only difference between irradiator and microwave is that microwave will make the food to be hot within a short time. But irradiator will cause little or no heat. It will cause little or no heat, and is capable of what? Killing bacteria. Then we have the last one, which is frying. Frying. This one is to pour oil on a frying pan, heating that oil, and put or you drop your fish inside it for it to fry. That one is another common method that most people apply at home. Then we are done with this. I believe you have been following me, and all what I've been saying is clear to you. Then let's quickly look at the last part here, which we refer to as risk factors in fish farming. When they're talking about risk, what does that mean? Risk is referred to as possibility, the likelihood of what? Of negative outcome. The likelihood of what? Likelihood of what? Negative outcome. So when you are into fish farming, there's something that can make you to incur loss. Those things that can make you to incur loss is what we call risk factors in fish farming. One, float. When you want to construct pond, it is advisable to construct it close to water source. And this water source, whenever there is high amount of rainfall, the volume of water in that water source or river can increase to the point that the water can overflow onto your pond, since your pond is close to the river. Once it overflows onto your pond, then your fish is tend to what? Float away together with the water. That is float that we're talking about. You can lose your fish through float. Then we have theft. This is stealing. Some people can attack your farm. This can also make the farmer to incur loss. Then we have market-related problem, especially somebody that is a starter that is just new into the business. So if you are producing fish for the first time, you have problem of marketing, and you at this point you will not have customer, you don't have buyers, and since you don't have buyers, you have your fish in stock. Then as a result of this, you see some people, some dubious people who will try to take advantage of buying on credit. And as we all know that people that buy on credit, is not all of them that always pay back. So when it is time for them to pay back, they will be giving you excuses. So that is another problem. So it's another risk factor in fish farming. Those are the things that can make farmers to incur loss. So which we refer to as risk factors in fish farming. So this is where I'll draw the curtain for this class, and I hope everything is clear. Everything I've been saying so far is clear to you. So we are going to meet in our next class. Thank you. See you next time.